Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. We're here to play Ironclaw 2nd Edition. The game is The Shade's Tale, and we're going to pick up where we left off. Actually, no, we're going to pick up with going over the characters and talking about mottos and current goals, and then maybe a short recap of last session. So let's start with Theta. Theta, tell us about your character, any goals that they currently have, and their motto.
Sorry, I was fixing my camera. For some reason, I was way off to the right. I am Harmon. Mechanically, I'm a donkey soldier. Thematically, I'm a mule sellsword. My personality is relentless. My motto is I am stronger. The only goal that I know that I have at the moment is to reach the Avatar.
All right. Arcloid, let's hear from you next. Let's hear about Connor.
Yes, I'm Ironclaw. I play Conor Laverne at Crevice. He is a raccoon knight errant. His motto is one hand watches the other, and his two goals are to reach the Avatar and to deliver the Rinaldi sword to an heir.
All right, I think we actually scrapped the second goal, the Rinaldi sword. Anushka basically scrubbed that goal once she got herself decursed. But you guys are still looking for to make contact with the Avoirdupois.
Well, I mean, we can keep any goals we want to keep, even if they're unachievable.
Okay. In that case, it's totally your call. If you want to die on that hill.
Look,
carry that
75
torch.
sessions later, when we're face to face with Vaslov himself, fighting to the death, and one of us says, "Here's your fucking sword!" throws it at him. Goal accomplished.
Well, more like we have to take the sword off his corpse to give to what's his name, Fabrizio.
Fabrizio. Right.
Yeah, you say it better than me.
No, I don't know. I do fake Italian. It's like Italian from Inglourious Bastards. You really have to let it ring out. Anyway, all right. So Griffin, how about you next? Let's hear
Hey
about
there, everybody.
the anonymous.
I'm Griffin, an anonymous doctor. I am an armadillo almoner with a flat-mannered personality. My motto is first, do no harm, and second, get paid. My goals are to heal someone's injuries or sickness and to reach the Avoirdupois.
All right, excellent. And now let's hear from Rafferty and Anushka.
Yes, hello. I am playing Anushka, the Bat Messenger. My motto is know no fear and serve with joy. And I also, my goal here is to reach the Avatar.
All right, very good. So we're all trying to reach the Avoirdupois. Does anyone remember why we're trying to reach them specifically?
I want to start a war on the island, basically.
Hell yeah. Tell us about it.
Well, it's going to be the result of telling my father that the king tried to kill me after I did my duty properly. He tried to kill an entire village. We have the refugees and the witnesses. And then my father goes and tells the Duke of the Avatar. And when the king says, disband or get rid of Connor's lands, disinherit him, he's no longer a member of your family, they get a collective middle finger from the raccoons and the horses.
All right. Sounds like a plan. So, based on that current goal, you guys had left Mage Cross in Bisclavre lands, taken the road east to the Granvert River, which you took upstream to Burgess. At that point, you guys ran into the anonymous doctor who joined up with you. You got into a bit of a skirmish on the ferry. Turns out the ferryman sold you out, but you defeated the cat bandits who were hired to take you down. You crashed the ferry into the far banks, decided to hoof it, in some cases literally across country to the nearest Avoirdupois town, village of was it Honnet? Let's see.
I think so. That sounds very familiar.
I think anything on the map itself would be no smaller than a city, and the rest is there for you to populate.
Cool.
It probably would not be unreasonable to assume that there's a small village about every day's walk in terms of basic demographics.
The one that we went to was the one with the chandeliers are at the monastery with the candle making monks.
That would be
Yeah. The way it's described suggests it might be a little bit smaller scale. It is important because of
Oh, it is a small place.
it's got some important architecture to the avoirdupois. But we'll get there.
Yeah, it's Hunnet.
Hunnet.
Would that be French for honor?
Would that be what?
French for honor?
Yeah, I possibly.
That's a weird.
I was about to say yeah, but I don't know.
It's a weird name for a monastery of monks.
All right. Well, so you guys were making your way there. In fact, you're probably less than half a day's journey outside of Hunnet. When you come across a clearing that's populated by a large group of perhaps unscrupulous-looking rat folk. Now you're gonna have to remind me what happened at the end of last session. I want to say that the doctor approached them gregariously.
That's right.
All right. Doctor, would you give me a mind and observation roll, please?
Of course. I believe my observation is non-existent. Cool, so it's mind.
Just mind, then.
Yeah, let's do it. Bam! Yeah, there's nothing wrong here.
All right. Okay. You can see that at your approach, several of these rat guys jump to their feet in surprise. They obviously were not expecting anyone to be emerging from the woods. Many of them grab up the weapons that they're carrying. Looks like maces, or some of them basically just gnarled branches or sticks. But they all kind of arm themselves, and you notice that they have. You notice that they don't. None of these guys look particularly highborn or even much like monks. Really, they look like people who spend most of their time living out in the woods at a campsite. The one that's closest to you sort of puffs up his chest and says, Now, who goes there? Stay right there.
Hello there. I'm just a friendly doctor. It's a delightful day out, and you all seem to have an encampment, and we've been journeying long and far. Could we join you?
No. This is a private party. Please, go. Find your own campsite. We don't want no trouble from strangers.
Well, no, I'm not here to cause any trouble. In fact, I have services I can give you. If any of your men are injured or sick, then I can help.
This guy, his eyes shift nervously over his shoulder like he's waiting for someone more important to come and make the decision for him. But why don't you give a...
This will be negotiation,
Negotiation. I think. Yeah, I'm trying to decide if it's like a will or a mind thing.
I'm asking for something, and I'm giving something, or offering to give something.
It's probably will.
Yeah. It's will when it's force of personality. It's mind when you're trying to reason with someone.
All right, then let's do will.
Okay, I get a D10 now. Woo!
Oh, I guess, and they should roll.
Will is my best stat. Hey!
Hey, beautiful. I rolled pretty well myself, but it's not going to do it for this. All right. This rat, he goes, I gotta check with someone, but you stay there. And he turns around to the others and he says, all right, just everyone be cool. We'll go talk to the boss. And he is going to,
I'm not going anywhere.
Make his way back into this back tent. Emerging from the tent, there is a stockily built for a goat who emerges. Looks like he's chewing on something, and he's got like one incredibly squinted eye. You can't tell if he's missing an eye or if he just has a very sort of cadre look about him. but he throws the flap open and he starts shouting. And every time he says a word, all the rats in the encampment kind of like flinch a little bit. But he says, "What the hell? It's not noon yet. I told you that unless it was a goddamn emergency, no one should be disturbed." I was not to be disturbed. I'll get there. It's early for me. Okay.
It's early for him too.
It is early for him too. His one eye kind of fixes on you all. And he says, "Oh, what's this? We weren't expecting anyone from Berger quite so soon. You wouldn't be the contact, would you?"
The doctor will kind of go, "Well, we're here to make contact, I suppose."
Well, come join us. Let's get a look at you.
All right, the doctor will now approach.
All right. These rats are gonna sort of scoot by.
Oh, is that a log? Oh, I'll take a seat there.
Yeah. There's you can see that there's there's logs, there's a wagon or a cart, there's piles of what looks like equipment. There's bags of stuff that looks like it's probably been looted or stolen. You can see scraps of armor, clothing, all kind of thrown together in no particular organized way. Are the rest of you guys going to join him in the campfire? I would say that if you don't want to, I'll ask for stealth checks, as you guys are still sort of emerging from the woods.
Yes, take a seat.
But I'm not actually sitting. It just seems like the most appropriate place to stand.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm deferring to Connor. Connor, you're our ranking noble.
Oh, this seems fishy, and I'd rather be with the doctor to keep him safe than out in the outskirts where I'd have to run in.
All right.
How's Anushka's stealth?
I'm not very stealthy.
You may want to come with us because you can always flee upwards.
That's usually the plan.
All right. So everyone is going to come out here and emerge. I'm going to grab a token for this guy. Please do not let the creepy skull icon on this token color your judgment on this
scary
person.
Or adversarial at all in nature.
Exactly.
I'm sure nothing bad will happen. That's why we're on a combat map.
No, this is not a combat map. This is a diplomacy map.
Exactly.
A map of negotiation. So,
this is an outlay of parlay.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Once you all come out, you notice that no one else is sitting and no one is especially putting their weapons away, except for this goat who is doing sort of his morning stretches. He's cracking his back. He kind of lumbers over to you, gives Harmon a surprised look at just the sheer size of him. Checks out Connor, notes his heraldry, which I assume, yeah. I assume you're wearing your heraldry in a place where people can see it.
Yes.
And he's going to be,
and the buckler on his side bears it as well.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you're representing, and he takes notice of that. And he says, "Well, seems that I mistook you for someone else, but tell us, travelers, what is it? Where are you headed? Perhaps we can do some trade."
I think that falls on Connor.
You're headed to my family's lands.
Surely. Avoir de proie. You've been on the road long, it looks like.
Yes, our need is great.
Well then. I can understand that as one traveler to another. Let's see.
No, would you mind me doing I think this would be mind and inquiry to judge if these people are outlaws.
Oh yeah. Let's have it.
Because they're not on my family's land, so it doesn't bother Connor if they are. In fact, it might be better if they were. So, in knowing this, because I have no inquiry, I will be spending my brazen personality basically going right out and asking one of them, "Are you an outlaw?" to see if who has the number one there, the blue, the goat. That's what he was.
Right. You could that's an excellent use of a personality trait, and you could target it at whoever you want, whomever. It's still going to be target of 3 in any case, so you'll want a 4 or better.
That's 2 successes.
All right. Okay. So you basically confront them. You ask the question right to their face. There's a sort of a shiver of nervous chuckling that goes through
He does
the
try to
ranks.
keep the noble fervor out of his voice when he says it, though, because it's, "Are you an outlaw?" No.
Yeah, you want to keep the judgmental tone to a minimum in this circumstance.
Yes.
Even before they answer, it is quite clear that this lot are outlaws, and the tension kind of rises in the air. There's a long moment before anyone answers. When they do, it is the goat. He says, "We've had our run-ins with the law, but we are just simple folk trying to make our way in the world, trying to turn a profit where we can. I would not expect his lordship to fully understand our plight, but we find ourselves in an interesting situation here. See, we are in the process of business negotiations. We expected someone, but they do not match your description. And now, well, the nature of our business is somewhat illicit, and we would like to keep it unknown to the authorities. You, sir, look to be one such authority. So now we must decide what it is we will do with you."
Well, my good man, I am no friend of the king. In fact, he tried to kill me. You're thus going to report this crime to my family. Whatever you do outside of my lands is your business.
Oh, that's interesting. I think I'd like to get a will negotiation roll from you as well for that one, because that could really change things.
I guess I'll go ahead and give an assistance to that, because I've already been talking to them too.
That's true.
Hey, take it to assist. D8.
All right, so D8 for you, Connor.
No team player.
No team player. Pour one out for Gaston. All right, that's 2 successes. Okay, I think that's actually pretty good. I think you've done a good job here. So, the goat, he snorts and he says, "And which king would that be? The king to the south? The king of the Avoir de Poix? There's too many kings. We don't concern ourselves with any of their businesses. But He looks at you, and the way that you kind of emphatically have stated that you are enemies to the throne, he gets the sense that you two are sort of perhaps on the wrong side of the law, or of some kind of law. And based on the way that you're acting, he can tell that you don't have any sort of insight into what it is they're actually trying to do here.
Right.
So he says, "All right. Well, I suppose we can let you leave. No trouble, no harm. You understand we have to take precautions, but it is not my wish that any blood should be spilt over trifle misunderstandings." He snaps his fingers, and his rat dudes sort of part. He says, "Unfortunately, we do have people that we're waiting for. We can't afford to tarry. If there's anything that you wish to trade, well, I could listen to offers for barter. Otherwise, though, I suggest you be on your way."
May your business go well, good friend.
Called friend by a highborn noble. This is quite a day. And all of the rat folk will laugh out of a sense of duty and obligation. But all right, yeah, they'll part and they'll let you pass if you want to continue. Honet is still, let's see, probably about a day's march to the east from here.
All right. And
Well, at least we had a small break.
is it coming towards time to camp, or
I'm gonna say it's probably about noon. And I said a day's march, but earlier I had said it was about half a day. So consider yourself like 3 to 4 hours outside of town. You could probably push your way there.
yeah, let's do that.
Okay. To the town of Honet. Let's see. I have some background art here that's a little on the small side, but hey.
Oh, what would Anushka's grade of messenger be if I were, say, purchasing her services as an NPC?
Messenger duties are pretty cheap if it's in the city. I mean, we charge by the mile and by the league and by the difficulty. What do you need, sir?
I was considering having Anushka fly to my father's estate and announce to him that I am in Honet.
Oh, you mean announce you early? Well, because
Well-
also, how many leagues away is that?
From where you are,
pretty
we assume
distant.
you're at Honet. That's 6.
I don't want to disinclude you from what the rest of what's going on today. So if that's going to take too long, then let's not do it. But
There's other things to
an
do
idea.
than have a messenger. For example, once we get to civilized territory, I don't have to deliver. We can go ahead and secure mail to deliver it. Because not only
yes.
can I deliver a message, I can recognize other messengers.
Yes.
So how many leagues away are we?
It's about 30, I think.
30?
We did decide that your estate is in Ferme-Rouge.
Okay. So we're about 5 days away. Skilled labor costs about 2 dinar a day. So it would probably be about 10 dinar, possibly like 12 or 15, to get a letter delivered. If you gave me like 12 to 15 dinar, I could fly to the nearest city and find a mail coach that would be willing to deliver it for you.
There we go.
In theory, it could cost less than that if we got like a package deal with a bunch of mail. But I think you want express delivery. You want the express. So
Yeah,
what's the now?
personal delivery.
So your estate's about 30 leagues away. The next question is, where's the nearest city or habitation that would have a mail coach?
Probably the closest one to you now would be Chalon-sur-Saldre. Or
oh god, Chalon
yeah.
du Saldre is one of the largest cities in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, and how far is that?
Oh, let's see. 12 leagues, I think, looks like.
Okay, 12. So I could do that and be back in 2 days, maybe 3 days tops, and send a letter. So you could draft a letter. Now, sir, you have letters, right?
Yes, all of them.
Then excellent. You could write the longest letter. Then if you drafted a letter, I could go to the city. I could be back in I can possibly make it to the city and back in 2 days, possibly 3.
Why would you be back? Why would you just meet us at the destination?
To get to the destination would probably take me 3 or 5 days to get there and 3 or 5 days to get back, and I'd be out of play for about 10 days.
No. I mean, get to the city, and then from the city, go to our destination, which would be in the similar direction. If not.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would go to the city, drop off the letter, and come back to you guys. Oh, you're right. Why would that take 2 days? Because you've been making forward progress. Then I could just reunite with you. So it would take probably less than 2 days, like basically a day and a half. So you could draft the letter, and I could just go a day ahead.
Excellent.
Yeah, I forgot about the Doppler shift. You are constantly moving forward too. Thank you.
I guess you'd probably also just want to rest up and wait until morning to do that.
No, I'm not the resting type.
Well, it's also he has to write the letter, so
that's
going to be time taken to rest anyway.
Go ahead and write the letter. You, of course, have a letter writing kit. You have all the writing tools, which are standard wizard traffic.
There you go. Dictate it out, and I'll write it for you.
Oh, yeah.
Allow me.
Allow the doctor, whose handwriting and prescriptions is reputed to be the most legible in the land, to write your letter for you.
It works extra well when I write in how much it's going to be. Say whatever I want later.
For 1, I want them to read it. For 2, I want them to read it in my handwriting.
Fair enough.
They educated their son for a reason.
What is this letter going to say? If you want to just give me the gist, that's cool too.
Father, you must warn the king. Vaslov Jakoba has tried to kill me for doing my proper duty to him and to chivalry. Therefore, he is an enemy to the crown. Some may call this traitorous, but I call it justice. And he'd go on basically for a couple of pages detailing, we have 100 eyewitnesses. My new squire is an eyewitness. You must come and recognize my squire.
You got to meet him, Dad. He's great.
Yeah.
All right. I have a question, and I relish the opportunity to ask this question because it's a huge table turn. Does your father have a name?
Yes.
All right. Hit me with the name.
His name is Baron Andre Laverne. His mother is Beauchance Laverne. He has a sister and 2 brothers I've also given names to, and they all have ages.
Okay.
After that, they're your characters.
I was waiting for your whole family to have the anonymous gift.
Whole family's just anonymous. All my NPCs anonymous. They just go by titles. That's
Anton Le Anonymous.
Andre Laveur. How do you spell? Oh, Laveur?
Laveur.
All right, excellent. Well, I tested you and you passed. You've definitely done your homework and constructed an airtight background. Well done. All right. Are you going? Oh, right. So this letter has expressed that you believe King Vaslov to be an enemy to the avoirdupois and to the very notion of chivalry, and you want to send it ahead. You want to get this letter to your father, Andre Laverne, as a preemptive strike against any sort of political scheming that the crown of Triskellion might impose against your family. And you're going to give that letter to Anushka to deliver to the closest or the largest closest city, Chalon-sur-Saudre. I'm getting all that right?
I mean, he's on the phone, so we'll say yes. We can
I'm
correct it in
sorry.
the backswing.
Oh, yeah,
All right, I
thumbs
like
up.
it.
I said that sounds good to me.
Cool. Okay, so as you guys roll into the town of Honet, this letter is drafted and sent off. And then the plan is that Anushka is going to just continue on to Fermarouge, and that you guys will meet her there, correct?
Yeah, well, actually, they said they could meet there, but I'm confident in my abilities that I'll be able to deliver the letter, and then once I get there, secure, find a secure post office. Because this is, I keep saying the Middle Ages, the Renaissance. I have to find a mail coach, give it to them, and get it mailed there, and find one that's leaving. So when I get there, I'm going to have to go ahead and find that using gossip, one of the skills I get for being a messenger.
Yeah, it was my understanding that Anushka was flying to the major city to deliver the letter to a mail service and then meeting us at Connor's ancestral lands. So
you mean you are incorrect. I'm going to the city and coming back because it's going to take you guys at least 5 days to get to the city.
You keep saying coming back, but we're not going to stop. So you're not coming back anywhere. You're going to meet us somewhere.
I will find you on the road. You are not hard to find.
Well, hopefully we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it seems like it'd be easier for you to meet us.
Yeah. No, I can find you guys. It's not a big deal.
All right. Well, either way, he was just saying that you were flying to Fermarouge, and I thought you were flying to the major city.
So since my business is with Connor, I'll go ahead and take care of it.
Okay.
And how much is that?
I would suggest you give me 15 dinar.
All right, we'll do.
I could attempt to negotiate less, but that's more than we need. When you send mail, you don't want to skip. You get, I believe the merchant class call it, you get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm. And I'm paying for it, so go for it. Thank you very much, Anushka.
As your doctor, I'll have to be very cross at you for leaving me for about a week and going without treatment and go on an extended journey. But at the same time, you just got paid an immense amount of money.
I'll be back in 2 days, and all the strain is on my wings and not on my well, I suppose lungs have something to do with health, but you could be breathing anyway.
I just come back in one piece.
No matter what medical care you can offer me, none of it makes up for the hole left in my life after the loss of Gaston.
You fly off, and I'm just like, who?
Right. Shall I away?
I mean, you got paid.
You got paid? You got a letter.
Would the game host like me to make a roll?
I am not going to ask you to roll to get to Shalansa Soldier, because at this point it's probably one of the largest landmarks in the world.
Yes, I think it is the second largest city. It might be geographically larger than Triskellion.
Yeah, and I feel like it's pretty. I feel like it's raised. Also, the map seems to suggest that. Anyway, I think you can find it fine and get there. If you look at the map,
they're building a fortress that will take centuries to build, and they're not even halfway done.
Yeah,
because they're the Abdu'l. Screw you.
If you're going to Chalon-sur-Saudray, that's where the Abdu'l Duke, or is he king, is. And if that is the case, Connor would go out on a long shot and try to draft a letter for the king as well, to be delivered to him by the gates, so you don't have to go to the king himself to say, here, this is from Conor Laverne Reese, he wishes to contact the king, and then they can do with it what they will. I'm not going to put a case on you, so you don't have to make sure it's covered.
I will assent to what Connor says, but literally I'm really just going to go find a mail service and say this one's for the king, this one's to the palace, and this one's to an estate in the country, and just leave. Now, perfect. If you want and get that done for 15 dinar, that is my plan. So when I get there, do you want me to roll to see if I can find the mail service?
Yes. So that will be gossip.
That would be gossip and local area knowledge of Sean de Saudray, which I don't have.
Oh.
I have 2 successes. Sadly,
All
my
right.
favorite use of gossip is finding an address, not finding a mail service.
Gotcha. Well,
But
you're
2
familiar
successes
enough.
should be enough to find a good mail service.
Yeah. Yes, and you can.
All right, I will.
You almost pass it off to someone who seems like a little sketch, and then you're like, nah, you know what? Hold on a second, because we can do better than
What
this.
about those guys over there? Because there would be coaches going, in and out. It's the city. So the trick here is to find, we find somebody who's sketch, but it's like, I'll look around a little bit, and find a more reliable bonded service. See, I know what a good messenger service is, but I'm not familiar with Avertipois domain, which, as you can see from the picture in the book, this city is huge, and there's that giant rope bridge that they have stretched over part of it. At the Avertipois, do not screw around when it comes to engineering. This is the city that everybody from Triskellion thinks Triskellion is.
Yeah. That's actually a really funny way to put it.
Because like in Triskellion, everything is like beautiful architecture and it's all falling apart. Whereas here, they're just building like crazy. They're getting ready for the war. So I will go ahead and turn over the 15 dinar, because it's probably like only 12 to do this, but I'll turn over 15 because I want to pay extra. Because I believe the working class are underpaid.
There you go. All right. Paying it forward. You're like, I got a friend with deep pockets. There's more where that came from. Don't worry.
Yeah. This is for royalty. Make sure you treat it as such. And like the guys who work in mailing service go, yes, we'll treat your package with extra care.
You paid for the insurance, so yeah.
Yeah,
pay for the insurance. Right side up.
For an extra dinar, we'll get our priest to bless it here so your mail won't be cursed. Is that really necessary? Does that happen often? Look, no one wants cursed mail.
Yeah, we had an outbreak a ways back.
Paid the extra fee, and their mail hasn't been cursed. You'd be the first person who doesn't pay the fee. Do you want to be the first person who takes that risk? And I can just look at them and hey.
So the
you want to be the low roller on the.
The mail service invented the chain letter so that they could also forward the anti-curse fees.
If you don't forward this to 5 other people, the last person who didn't forward this, you know what happened? They got level drained. Do you want
to pay for deluxe postage?
I really like this idea of spreading curses through the mail, though. Now that's going to be something I have to file away.
The problem is that a lot of people can't read, so
that's fair point.
I mean, that carries through today. Have you ever gotten your mail? I mean, come on. You open your mail, bills, past dues, summons. My mail's cursed. Why wouldn't yours? So, yeah. And I probably marvel at how big this city is. I've probably not been here before. But then I gotta shake that on my head, grab a quick cricket lunch, and get the hell out of here.
All right. And you're going to meet the rest of the party back on the road.
They say they're being stealthy and trying not to be seen on the road, but Harmon and Connor are quite visible because Connor is an obvious panoply. And Harmon, aren't you like a juggernaut in shining death armor?
Panoply?
I mean, I am, but at the same time, I don't imagine I'm visible from the horizon.
Well,
I have big ideas about myself, but they're not that big. Yeah.
I think it's pronounced panoply. Maybe I pronounced it wrong. But Harmon, what armor? Are you in Aerith armor?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in like the shining, unique armor.
Right, I'm saying no one's pointing a mirror at me from far distance, so I always reflect the light. I'm not like the sniper rifle in a war scenario.
No, your armor glints in the noonday sun. Also, we're in Avertipois domain, which is mostly plain. So, but I'll find you.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I think that he can find you guys. I assume you guys are taking the roads. If you're bushwhacking it, it might take a little bit longer.
To be fair, I'm not arguing against reconvening. I'm just saying that if we're trying to lay low until we're in safety, then it seems like we're not trying to be found.
Yeah, the other problem is I don't think you guys have bushwhacking skills, do you?
Nope.
Absolutely not.
I did spend a year training with the bushwhackers, but that only means I can raise my arms up and down.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, you do find them. I'm gonna say, let's say it's probably been about a day's journey outside of Honet, and you guys are. Well, let's see. You're probably either taking a ferry on Lake Aube, or you're just kind of going over land, skirting around it. I imagine there's roads that kind of like run all the way around this huge lake in Avoirdupois lands. Or, I mean, you could be going down to Eloge, and then taking the Via Salutis, our favorite road, over to Chalon-sur-Saldre.
Oh, sorry, I missed them. I didn't realize you meant from Hunet to Chalon. I was like, what? Hunet's in the middle of the field. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But yeah, so you guys are on your way. In fact, I'm going to say that a day's journey outside of Honet, probably around the time or shortly after Anushka posts up with you, you come across what looks to be a unit, a military unit of horses clad in the Avoirdupois colors. Based on the house colors that they're flying, you can determine that they're from Eloge. And as you approach their, they kind of block the road a little bit, and they say, "Stop there, travelers! Halt! A moment of your time, we would ask." And noticing Conor among you, they would take a knee, essentially, a bow in recognition of his nobility. They say, "I hope you don't mind, but we are currently on the lookout for bandits who have stolen something precious. You wouldn't happen to have come across any in your travels, sir?"
Oh, yes, right back that way. And he'll give detailed instructions on how to find them.
All right. At this point, it
Connor
would
just
been
immediately double crossing.
yeah, just dunked on these
No
guys.
remorse.
Well, it's not a double cross. We have no agreement with them.
He literally said to them, "It's like, it's not on my land. What do I care?" Immediately, as soon as he's asked, like, "Oh yeah, over there."
Well, I mean, to be fair, these soldiers aren't on his land either.
Yeah, they're
That's
doing
true.
their duty to their lord, so I'm not going to help them.
They are. When you mention it, the lead horse, he says, "So these bandits, can you describe them? Were they traveling with a caravan, or were they just simple footpads that jumped you on the road?"
They were in camp. They did have a wagon.
This seems to trouble him. He says,
They outnumbered us, but I managed to talk our way through their encampment.
I mean, they had a cart.
I see. You recall about how many they had?
And their makeup of many rats and one goat.
Oh, right. The man snaps his finger, and one of his guardsmen begins taking notes. Apparently, he can write. He narrates this. He says, "Thank you, sirs. You've been very helpful. We are currently investigating this. One of the great signal towers has been vandalized. As you know, this could be very dangerous for our borders. The Avoirdupois have kept vigil against the Delorio for years now, using these towers, and we fear that this might be the work of sort of a preemptive strike on behalf of the Delorio. But we will get the answers we seek once we capture the criminals. You have been very helpful, and we greatly appreciate it, sirs." And gives you like a bow, salute, and they start to. He's really good at lying, and then they take off down the road. This is the only real encounter that you guys have before reaching the city of Chalon-sur-Saldre. And at which point are you guys planning to spend any time in the capital here? Maybe check on the results of the letter that you sent to the king, or are you going to push on through to Connor's ancestral home.
Well, this is certainly a good place to at least take a day's rest. But he'll try to see if he can't secure audience with the king to at least tell him, what Vaslov has tried to do and is doing.
Yes, a day's rest, just enough time to assassinate the king and establish my own monarchy.
Perfect. They were fools to let Harmon into any room with any other person.
Yes.
That's how this begins. We're going to create our own state.
Well, the
A
real
state
problem
of.
there is that I can't have progeny. I'm a mule.
I know. The irony.
The
A mule
Ironclaw
taking
and
over the horse community. What if he
I could only
What if
adapt.
he just sort of pretended he was a horse and just challenged anyone who challenged his claim and was just like, no, I'm a horse, goddammit.
I mean, there's already factions rising up against
All right.
authority and nobles and whatnot, so I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
So Connor wants to stop and try to get audience. Anushka, you flew to this city to deliver the message, and now we're regrouped, right?
I'm glad to see you're not dead.
And I'm glad to see you're not dead.
It's nothing.
Now get over here and get to bed immediately.
I can sleep when I'm dead. It
When
only
you're
hurts when
dead, I'll be right on your heels.
I'm
You can either
Thank
rest
you.
now or rest then.
your concern for my well-being is well noted.
So I'll be taking care of Anushka, and I guess Harmon, you're just going with Connor then.
Sure.
Well, that's when you get to make the role of mind in academics.
Oh boy.
Maybe we should do that now. I assume if you guys are going to try to get audience with the king, you're going to have to be prepared to wait for a little while. So let's say a full day, which gives
Oh yeah, I'm
Connor.
so glad I rushed back here for your medical care.
I throw my personality into it.
Well, this gives us time to have our shit mended and washed and us mended and washed.
You could all use a good washing after that long journey.
Did you just say washing? Are you from the Pittsburgh area?
No, that one I stole. I think I feel like that was a Kevin Smith thing. He always said washed, and I thought it was funny. But yeah.
One look at this picture here, you can see this place totally looks clean.
Yeah, oh yeah. No chance of picking up an infection there. I have some other. Let's see, what do we got here? This is probably a little bit of an exaggeration, but it maybe will give you a better mindset of the kind of gleaming architecture we're talking about here. At least better than the dirty cottages of Honet. So, anyhow,
what are these statues of?
I know, strange hairless creatures. All right, let's see. So the king is very busy, Connor, but one of his attendants will hear your claim. And I think if you'd like, you can give me a roll to see if you can't pressure an actual audience with the king. And by the king, I think I'm talking about the Archduke of the Avoirdupois. For all intents and purposes, king of these lands.
For the moment he vassalized himself,
Yeah,
not him, but the people before him.
I think this message is going to prove important enough to send to the king. So I don't have to bother him personally with it. So I will, let's see, I don't think Potter can help me with this. So I'm just going to try a will and negotiation roll with the attendant or who is this I'm seeing?
I'm going to say this is an attendant. I actually,
so
I'm not sure what the exact rank
will be to stress to him that this is, a very serious matter. The king has betrayed his vassal's trust. Justice must be done.
I do like your first thought, though. is the noble Connor will probably fail this. Can the small child from another country help me?
Well, not that I could probably fail it. I just want to get as many successes as I can.
Also, want to
I
point
totally
out that
get you.
the Archduke of the Aventurpois probably not actually super busy. In the fine tradition of the royalty of the Aventurpois, he's probably holding court and having parties and whatnot,
Yeah, right.
spending the people's money.
Very, very good point. I don't know about Potter in this situation. I don't know if you could add a lot of credibility.
Now, I
with
have
the
a
royal
strange
court.
question. Is
Yeah.
this person I'm talking to a woman?
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
then I took the favored use, and I'm going to take the favored use of all my social skills as with women because he's a womanizer.
Interesting detail. Okay. This woman is a little on the older, sort of more crony side of things, but sure. All right. That
Well, he
is
still gives her compliments and
yeah.
tries to brighten her day a little bit.
There you go. A little flattery never hurt. And apparently in this case it definitely helps your case.
Like with as old as she is, she probably values some parts of like you work so hard for the king. Look at you, and he's gonna compliment her work ethic. That's more important than her looks at this point in her life.
There you go. And she is of noble, nobility, and has an implacable composure, but you can see that you sort of like you've managed to get that flattery in between her armor and under the armor, and she seems to take a liking to you and says, I will see if if his lordship has time. Please be patient. This might take a while. And indeed it does take a considerable length of time, but 3 hours later, you are granted an audience with the Archduke. Much like was suggested, he is in the process of feasting with many other nobles. You may recognize some of them. All of them are from the Avoirdupois great houses. And all of them are in a state of carousing and enjoying themselves. But you are ushered in, flanked by guards, to the main table where the Archduke sits. And he sort of addresses you kind of side-eyed. He seems like he's in the middle of a conversation with one of the women at the table. But he looks at you and he says, yes, you have brought us grave news. Is that correct, Sir Lavier? Lavier? I am so bad with these names. I apologize, guys.
That's fine. I
Making
assume that
a
an
character, he's like,
man would be
whatever
able
your
to-
name is.
Whatever, the
I'm
raccoons.
sure he would be able to say it because he's also from that same area.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's definitely.
Then you gotta add in, does he care?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I do indeed bear grave news.
Well, this is a party. Hardly the this royal gathering is hardly the location for grave news. And he chuckles, but he says, "But you came all this way, so please enlighten us." And I will point out, no one else is listening to you. Everyone else is engaged in side conversation. You're probably like the third or fourth person who's been brought with grave news to his lordship over the course of this party, and everyone knows by now. Just generally, the Archduke will just wave them off. But in this case, he's lending you an ear, so let's hear it.
Well, he's going to call Connor forward to tell the story. And by that, that means he's going to assist me with his presence and his team player.
All right.
So you
That's
are
what I'm
Connor.
talking about. You meant Potter, but yes,
Potter,
I
yes,
know
I'm
what you're getting
sorry.
at. Potter is, Potter's a little bit stupefied. He never in his wildest dreams would think that he would be addressing anyone of nobility, let alone an archduke.
Yes, we all know Potter for his talking skills, right? You remember when he rolled double ones to save Gaston?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, that looks like he gives me a D12 to this. And Connor's going to try to get everybody's attention. Hello, friends. This is a matter that involves us all. Let's see. Well, he does pretty good.
All right.
With Potter's help, he manages to impress upon them the treachery of the king and how his lawful village was doing no wrong and was paying its taxes and got burned to the ground anyway by a vengeful and hateful king.
All right. As your story begins, you basically have maybe the attention of the main table. The king only kind of looks like he's ready for a nap, but as your story continues, and also swayed by Potter's tears and stammering confessions of the things that he saw, more and more of the gathering seems to be paying you heed. By the end of the story, it seems like you have the rapt attention of a majority of the room, and you can start to hear whispers of the nobility back and forth, mentioning shocked, murmurings and maybe even some displays of outrage.
And as that outrage starts coming, Connor will step forward and say, "Now, when the king calls for my head, will you side with him or will you side with justice?"
Oh man, that is epic. It may be overdoing it a little bit. I think the Archduke is gonna
do it though.
snort a little, and that's true. Maybe this is just how you handle nobility. Maybe they need a little drama in their lives. But I must say that you rolled very well for your negotiation, and I think that you are stirring the hearts and minds of these half-drunk nobles. So let's go with it. There is sort of there's applause. There's some stomping of hooves in the chamber. And the Archduke, he raises a hand and says, "Please, please, now, the things that you have told us are quite troubling. But I too have heard other accusations leveled against you and your family, specifically that of the Eclume, have recently been bringing charges against your good father, the Sir Andre Levue. I will. He there are claims of theft of their prized secret techniques in metalworking, and also of sedition against the crown in Triskellion. Obviously, we had not heard of the of this side of the story, and if it is true, well, then it is, as you say, an egregious misuse of royal power. But this is we have laws here, and we will abide by them, pending an investigation that we will dispatch immediately to this small town. What was it called? Mage Cross. We will conduct our own investigations. In the meantime, I suggest you return to your family's estate. As I said, there is a high court being held, and this information may prove very beneficial to your family in this time of judgment. Now then, is there anything else, Sir Connor? The court has, let's see. I don't know if he would use the royal we. In any case, he tells you that he's going to consider where you're what the implications of this. He mentions that the avoirdupois will never be, will not be made to look fools or to stand idly by while injustice is done. Kind of the old lines, the honor and chivalry that that you've been raised on, and is very important to this nation. And yeah, and it's interesting. You feel like you also have gained a little bit of appreciation from several of the other nobles in the room, and you make note as to their faces, because you never know when that might be useful sometime down the line.
Oh yeah, noble connections are always important.
Okay, your time in the room has come to a close. Unless there's anything else that you'd like to throw in there, I think
He's good.
He's good. All right. Okay. The elderly attendant leads you out of the room, and she confesses that the news that you bore was quite terrible to hear, and yet her heart was filled with gladness that there are still noble champions such as yourselves who will put themselves at personal risk to do what is right.